Hello out there, all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me a time of your ear and listening in to another 3DS game ideas as well as a pitch for Switch video. And I know it has been a long while. I mean, like 3 weeks since I've posted a video. And I do apologize because I've been wanting to, but life has not been fair. But moving that aside, getting to what I want to talk about and why I did this is another combined 3DS and pitch for Switch video, like the Super Valus or Ultimate Valus 4 video I did. Um, Ghouls and Ghosts, the Arthur Chronicles, um, which would encompass Ghosts and Goblins, the first game, Ghouls and Ghosts, which I think is the second game, and then Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which is the third game, and then again the remixed version of Super Ghouls and Ghosts that was on the Game Boy Advance. All of those could be put together into one collection that cohesively shows you Arthur's adventures as a character. And there was a Ghouls and Ghosts collection that came out on the Sega Saturn in Japan many years ago, and it was actually Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, and then Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I believe. I may be wrong, but I think that was how the collection went. It was Capcom Classics or Capcom Anthology, something like that. It was a series of collections that were on the Sega Saturn in Japan, like way back, and Ghouls and Ghosts had its own mini collection among it. Um, Now, for the 3DS, I actually for the Switch is just super simple. You put the game on there, put the different versions of the game on there, and just do and let them play. Like you don't have to really augment the games any for the Switch outside of maybe possibly doing like new sprite work and like making everything high def, but that's really about it. Um, for the 3DS, however. Uh, and for the Switch, I'd probably put in a multiplayer mode where you can play against other people. Specifically just for the Switch. I wouldn't do it for the 3DS version because I'd want something special for the Switch version. That way people can play, like if they have their own saves, they can play locally against each other. But, and I would make it sort of like, I kind of would want to make it like a Castlevania HD is as far as like the scope of how the levels are built, and just make it so that you can have like 20 or 30 people playing online against each other as different versions of Arthur trying to take each other out. Like it would be it would be interesting. Um, but getting away from my point here, um, for the 3DS, again with the updated looks of everything, just scaled down to fit the 3DS. Um, have Ghosts and Goblins, the original game, Ghouls and Ghosts, and then Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and then Super Ghouls and Ghosts Advance. I think that's what they called it, Advance, on the Game Boy Advance, which had the remix mode. That kind of changed up the stages, and you had different paths you can take, which went to different variants of stages. Um, but getting back to what I was trying to say, which I've like drifted away from twice already. For the 3DS, with the Ghouls and Ghosts games, the series, everyone except for the Game Boy Advance version, I would like to allow Arthur to retain his different weapons. Like when you die with it, you lose it. But if you like pick up different weapons, like he has has the javelin, which he has by default, or he can have the throwing knives or the hook. I think it's either a hook or an axe that he throws. But like I think it's different depending on which version of Ghouls and Ghosts that you play. But or the holy water that he can throw, which blows up into holy fire and all that stuff. All these different items, different weapons that he can pick up for the first three games that are just like the standard versions of themselves, that can be added in for the 3DS version and allow you to be able to select those things using the touchscreen so that you can quick select them. I mean, also add the functionality to the L and R buttons that way. So the Game Boy Advance version of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which would be which would strictly be the remix version, um, that can be included in there because there's something else I'd want to do for that. Uh, that way you can it can retain keeping the weapons and you'll be able to swap back and forth between them. And I'm like over explaining the same thing 3 or 4 times. Uh, this way, when you get armor upgrades and stuff like that, like you keep your weapons in, and on top of that, it'll show you the progression of your weapons as you get upgraded armor. Especially specifically, Ghouls and Ghosts, I think you only have the one. I think not Ghouls and Ghosts. Ghosts and Goblins, you only have Arthur's normal armor. Ghouls and Ghosts, I think you get the silver and what's the normal armor, and then the supposed copper armor, which is like green instead of like a copper color. And then Super Ghouls and Ghosts, you have the normal armor, the copper colored armor, and the copper armor. Getting tongue tied there. And then the gold armor, which has the mask that covers Arthur's face and it allows him to charge his weapons up. Like that, I think would be nice to have that included. So like when you upgrade armor, it shows the progression of the weapons and how strong they become, along with the bottom of the screen. So just say like it'll have the line of different weapons and it'll shift as you upgrade armor. I guess that's the best way to explain it. Or it just all changes to reflect the armor that you're currently wearing. Yeah, that makes more sense. Because the way I was just explaining it would have made it too complicated. It would have overcomplicated it for no reason. But for the Super Ghouls and Ghosts Advanced, with the remix and the multi-pass through different versions of stages, I would want that to have like the map at the bottom of the screen and show you which stage variants you're going to, depending on how you complete the levels. Because I think there's like certain ways you have to complete some levels in order to get different stage variants. If I remember right. I mean, I could be wrong. I've only played the game like 2 or 3 times. Like that version of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, I've only played it 2 or 3 times. So it's either you are either finishing the levels in a way that will get you to different variants of certain stages, or you have to pick them in between levels. I don't think you pick them between levels. I'm pretty sure you just go to different variants depending on how you perform on the stage or certain things that you unlock in the stage. I don't remember though. It's been so long. But I would prefer it would be that you do certain things in a level and it'll open up. It will change the variant of the stage that you're going to end up in, which will allow you to get to certain other areas that you wouldn't normally be able to. Hopefully, I haven't played that one in so long. I don't remember much about it. I just remember that it has the remix mode where the stages change up, with the exception of the very first level of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which is the same no matter what. I think until you get back around to it when you have to reset, I think it does allow for a change then, but I don't remember. I might be wrong on that. But the collection would be a good idea. And it would reintroduce Arthur as a character to all of the people who, not reintroduce, but it would introduce Arthur as a character to a newer generation of people who may not be familiar with him. And it would work for 3DS, the Switch. Hell, it would work on any other platform as well, but I'm specifically talking about this because, again, 3DS has that install base, and the Switch has a good amount of hype behind it right now. And it would be a good idea to announce something like that and say, this is coming to the 3DS and the Switch, and we're putting this out for classic fans to enjoy, as well as newer people to be able to get into the series and kind of understand what's going on with the character. But that's it. The game that you're watching on the screen is not Ghouls and Ghosts. It's not Ghouls and Ghosts at all. It's I'm trying to remember the name. And it's Maldita Castilla. which is this version of it is the free version that was put out like years ago. I think there's a newer version on Steam that was recently released not that long ago. It's an awesome game. I say go ahead and pick it up. I'm going to get the Steam version because I want to support the creator of the game. But thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, please enjoy your games. And I promise I will have more videos for you. Peace out.